We play video games to have some fun, others play video games because it's their job, and others hate them, but everyone agrees on the fact that they can be considered a real-life simulation in all aspects. Hey everyone, Aldo here. In this video I will address some very unrealistic things in video games that work really well. Let's start with something that has been in video games since I can remember. Double jumping. If you try to double jump in real life, firstly you have to manage to disobey the laws of physics, and secondly to survive the fall. In video games, fortunately, it's a different story. The first game to implement this legendary mechanic was Dragon Busters, a platformer arcade RPG released in 1985 by Namco. What led them to this? Well, no one knows exactly except from them. Maybe a bug in the code that ended up a real success. Since then, a huge number of developers have followed their steps, giving the gaming art a nice touch. Some developers have even pushed it one step further by trying triple jump, like for example Super Mario. Player storage. If you have ever watched Harry Potter, you may remember Hermione's magical bag that you could fit everything in it. In the world of video games, this isn't even considered magic at all. Characters can carry in their bag from RPGs to entire buildings. Some survival games nowadays are trying to give a more realistic experience to the players by making them think more of what to carry with them. Looting. You finally win a gunfight against 50 enemies, who of course are terrible at aiming, and decide to loot their bodies to find something useful. No bro, all guns, aim and stuff are gone, and instead you are left with 5 coins. Of course there are games out there that respect reality in this mechanic, but the majority doesn't. Hopefully this cannot always be a bad thing. Coins may come in handy for buying other in-game stuff, instead of aim and guns. Health regen. Gunfighting, huh? Sometimes it doesn't matter how bad the 50 enemies you killed may be. You ended up taking 3 or 4 bullets, and now you have to go to a hospital to remove them, patch you up, and wait for some weeks to get better. Now how about skipping everything except the last step, and instead of some weeks to wait a few seconds? Wouldn't that be great? Of course, and that's why video games do it. Barbershops. It wouldn't have been a list of unrealistic video games things without the legendary Barbershop. I'm sure every one of us remembers entering in GTA San Andreas a barbershop with CJ, and if you don't, please stop this video, dislike it, and go play this game. Now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about the video game instant hair growth magic, where barbers, instead of fucking up your hair and making you think to move to another continent, actually give you a perfect haircut. Wanted level. And finally the wanted level. You start a rampage in the middle of the city, destroying dozens of cars and killing hundreds of people. You know, everyday stuff in GTA, but eventually you start to get bored of this. What do? Surrender? Nah, too lame. Cheat code? Nah, too proud for this. What about driving with a car through the mountains? Perfect. Everyone, in about 5 minutes, will forget everything you have done and you are free to enjoy your coffee. Well, I am usually not into good words, but I would like to thank you for surviving this long. Of course there are way more unrealistic things that make games amazing, but covering all of them would make the video 1 hour long or so, and no one would like to waste his time. As you may notice, this is my first video on YouTube, so instead of asking for likes and subscribers, I would really appreciate to write me in the comments any suggestion for gaming content and things you didn't like in this video. See ya next time!